Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, that is the funnest part for me by far, is seeing all the different places folks are joining in from. Hopefully the necessary captioning or whatever needs to be in place to make this accessible for folks is there. And you are able to leverage that and engaging us for the time that we're spending together this evening. Really excited for this conversation and to share more with you all about the Walt Disney Company, about our partnership with the ICF and about the opportunities that exist here. With that, I do want to start first with a warm thank you to our partners at AICF, for one, all of the work that you all do, and certainly for the opportunity for us to come and share more about the Walt Disney Company with all these amazing folks. Loyola for supporting us today, certainly to Jack and Anne Marie, for the partnership that we've had over the years, in making this work happen. And so excited any opportunity we get to share with you all. So thank you for your time. For what based on the locations I'm seeing here, maybe a little bit later in the evening for you all than for some of us on the West Coast here. So for our conversation today, we're going to do a few things. We'll go over a company overview to tell you more about the Walt Disney Company. I know Disney is a brand folks are familiar with, but the company is so vast, that you can be in one part, you can be in Disney in New York and not know what's going on in Disney in Orlando, for example. And so we'll share the nuggets we have about the company. We'll talk company culture, which is so important. It's something that we're really proud of, the company of the culture, excuse me, of the organization. The way we think about culture and the way that we encourage folks to bring our cultures to work, and share with each other, and how that impacts how we're able to engage the community as well. We'll talk internship opportunities and BERGs. We'll explain what BERGs are. Disney is a world of acronyms, although this one is fairly common, and we're excited to tell you a bit more about that. And then we'll talk about the Disney Future Storytellers program, which is really, I think, the main reason that we're here today, and what undergirds this partnership. And so we'll get started then with the mission statement, the Walt Disney Company. The mission of the Walt Disney Company is to entertain, inform, inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. And that is always our goal, is to provide world-class service, products, ideas, experiences to our audiences, partners, customers, guests around the world in all the ways that we're able to do that. And we hope that you all are familiar with some of those things. I know we're still throwing locations in the chat as they're coming in. I'm going to shift gears for a moment, if that's all right, and ask if you've got a favorite Disney movie, Disney character, Disney park, Disney streamer. By streamer, I mean streaming service, that you're a fan of. Go ahead and throw that in the chat. But left Little Mermaid, Brother Bear, Tinker, can't be Tinkerbell, Avatar, blue people. Yep, they are blue. That's for sure. The old Mulan, not the new one. Okay, see, we can differentiate there. Gotcha. Aladdin, Mulan, Luca, Lion King, the old Lion King. I love that we're at a point in our content where we differentiate between characters and releases. Uh, Wonderful. Hercules, Moana, Star Wars, Robin Hood, Nemo. Nice. Winnie the Pooh. You've got a friend in Niranjani. It moved too quickly for me to see who put that, but I caught it with my eye there. Lilo and Stitch. Love it. Mandalorian. Okay. You've got a few Star Wars folks in the house. That's awesome. That's great. And so all of those characters, all of those properties, we'll say, are intellectual property, all of those businesses that they're a part of sit across the Walt Disney Company, which is a really, really large enterprise, a literal global enterprise of various entities. And we'll talk a bit more about our businesses next that make up the Walt Disney Company. And so we've made up of a number of subsidiaries and affiliates, leading across a diversified international family of entertainment media enterprises that includes three core businesses. And so again, the Walt Disney Company is very large, and we're very proud of that. And it encompasses so many different things, and there's so many different ways that you all might be familiar with our work and with our branding with the company. And hopefully that by the end of this, you'll be familiar with the opportunities that are tied to each of those businesses and how you might explore them a bit more on your own. So first we'll think about Disney experiences, and this is the global hub that brings Disney stories, characters, and franchises to life through theme parks, resorts, cruises, vacation experiences, consumer products, and everything from toys and books and video games. And so this is a big part of what a lot of folks know about the Walt Disney Company is what we internally call Disney experiences, i.e. the parks, Disney cruise lines, all of those things that really help to bring the experiences that you've had on this either the big screen or the home screen, the small screen, or even your smaller screen if you use your cell phone or tablet for that. And this is all the ways that we take those stories and turn them into worlds or experiences that you, your family, friends are able to sit with, are able to walk through, are able to visit and be guests in within the parks. And so there's a number of parks around the world with the Walt Disney Company. Here, domestically, we're familiar with Walt Disney World and Disneyland, right, in Orlando and Anaheim, California, respectively. And so that's what comprises Disney experiences, along with the cruise ships that come along with that. Quite a wide range of things happening there. But all aimed again at all of those titles that you listed, right? Or various of the titles that you all have listed in the chat, bringing those experiences to life so that when you come to Walt Disney World or Walt Disneyland, you're walking around a park and seeing some of your favorite characters in the park, or you're staying at one of our resorts and it's themed around one of your favorite stories that we tell. And so we think so much not only about the stories that we tell and the communities and people that they elevate, but then how do we bring those experiences to life for folks to enjoy in a realistic way and in a very, very authentic way. And we try to be so mindful across the company and how we stand those things up within our Disney Experiences brand. So that's one part of the Walt Disney Company, right? Disney Experiences, again, you can think parks, cruise line, apparel, video games, and all that. Disney Entertainment is a bit more comprehensive, and we think there, you can kind of think big and small screen when you think about Disney Entertainment and what it covers. And so this includes the company's full portfolio of entertainment media and content businesses globally, including streaming. Do we have any Hulu, Disney Plus, or ESPN folks in house? Anybody use any of those streamers? I'm seeing raised hands. So I'm going to take those as an emphatic yes. Yes, all three. We love a bundle. Again, it's moving too fast for me to know who said it, but we love a bundle experience. Disney Plus. Awesome. That's great. We might have something along these lines a little bit later in our chat as well. We'll see when we get there. And so Disney experiences, you can think about, again, all of the content that you see happening on screens comes out of our Disney experiences business. And so we can think about, for the sake of this conversation, our studios as well, right? Those things being Lucas, Disney Animation Studios, Marvel, Pixar, all of those incredible studios that produce so much of the content and so many of the stories that we hear told and that I've seen mentioned in the chat today, along with our streaming services, those being Hulu. You'll see ESPN called out separately here as well. Disney Plus, Nat Geo is also a part of the Disney family. Disney is one of those places where even for us as employees, we're sometimes surprised by just how broad the enterprise is in and of itself and what it encompasses. And we'll look up one day and say, oh my gosh, that's a Disney character, it's a Disney story, that's a Disney property or streamer. And so really, really comprehensive there. And then ESPN. Folks are not as familiar with ESPN being a part of the Disney family, based in Bristol, Connecticut, but it is a part of the Walt Disney Company. And so this is a broad overview of the Walt Disney Company and our businesses. We'll chat more about how you can explore opportunities with the company, but just know as you're kind of thinking about, hey, where in Disney makes sense, there's all these businesses and brands that you're familiar with that present opportunity for you as well. Next, we'll think about the culture and community at Disney. I mentioned that that's something that we're really proud of, our focus on culture and authenticity, and how intentional our leadership is about building community amongst the company. And so first, Disney Belong. This is an initiative as we think about inclusion and how internally we think about inclusion and how that then plays itself out in the way that we are in the marketplace, in the way that we tell stories externally, and in the way that we're able to engage the unique experiences of folks, both within the organization and outside of the company. And so by you're able to look at Disney Belong and think about employee spotlights, inclusive storytelling, and the Life at Disney podcast, which I previously hosted. Not saying you should check out those episodes, but I think they're pretty great. Just throwing it out there. But Life at Disney is, you can do Google Life at Disney as well. And that's your opportunity to learn so much about the day-to-day experience of folks working at the Walt Disney Company, from our engineers to our software designers, to our friends in HR, to finance and accounting, to our folks in hospitality that are supporting our resorts and the experiences of our guests. Disney Belong and the stories that are told there are a comprehensive approach to our beliefs around culture and community and importance that we place on employee experience. Next, Disney Possible. So we have so many initiatives, particularly when you think about the nonprofit space, as well as ways in which we give back to the communities that we are part of. The stories that we tell are from so many different communities around the country and around the world. And so we're very intentional as an organization about giving back to those communities and about giving back to the planet overall, for example, with Disney Possible and our conservation efforts. And I'll talk briefly about that in a moment. And then we have over 100, I think the number I heard today was 154 employee resource groups and affinity groups across 11 dimensions of diversity or different aspects of identity and ways that folks show up in the world. But Jenny will tell us a bit more about that later. I'll chat briefly as well about our conservation efforts that I mentioned. And so over the last 25 years or so, Disney has been really mindful in the footprint that we leave on the world and how we're able to impact that in a really positive way. And so across so many of our businesses, there's opportunities for us to volunteer as employees, and there's opportunities for us as a company to give back to organizations that are doing really amazing work, not just for the people of the planet, but the planet itself. One of those efforts falls under Disney Conservation and our Planet Possible initiative, where essentially we put our money where our mouth is and thinking about how are we able to support organizations that are mindful of the species on this planet, the ways that we show up. And so that looks like everything from butterflies to rescuing coral reefs across the world and the places where we're doing business and impacting the world. Feel free to spend some time learning a bit more about that at impact.disney.com/environment. And then our IGs are listed there as well, Disney Conservation on Facebook or IG. Again, opportunities to learn about the commitment that we've made at the Walt Disney Company and how we continue to support that mission. I see something, which is better, Disney? I saw a question, which is better, Disneyland or Disney World? I don't know, anonymous attendee. That's them could be fighting words depending on who you're talking to. But they're different experiences, both really great. I'll say Disneyland just because it's just down the road from me here in California. So it's the closest one. I'm gonna roll with that. Internship opportunities. And so, as I mentioned, the Walt Disney Company has a host of opportunities across the organization. You hear how varied the businesses are that we have, from ESPN to Nat Geo to Hulu to the Worlds to the park and all of those things. Within each of those organizations are opportunities for you to join. We often talk about Disney Magic. Well, there are people behind the magic, right? There are people making it happen and creating the content and the stories that you love and the experiences that so many of us are familiar with. And there's opportunities for you to do that as well. Be you early in your career, right? Maybe you're just starting at the collegiate level. Maybe you're early in your career. Maybe you're a bit more seasoned professional, wherever it is that you find yourself, or when you find yourself at those various stages of your career, there's a place at the Walt Disney Company for you to consider. A few opportunities we want you to be mindful of is, one, the Disney College Program. And so this is housed typically at Orlando, and this is an opportunity for folks that are interested primarily in hospitality, but a number of business functions as well, right? And so you'll focus on operations, entertainment, lodging, food and beverage, retail, sales, and recreation. It's quite the opportunity, very comprehensive. And we have so many folks within the organization now, leaders across Disney, who came out of the Disney College Program experience. It does come with Disney Living, or housing and amenities are provided. And there's some conversations to be had there, as well as exclusive learning experiences where you get to learn more about the Walt Disney Company and support you along your academic journey while learning the work in the world of operational work that makes the Walt Disney makes Walt Disney World run. Say that 3 times fast. There's also an opportunity on the professional, or what we call professional internship side. And this is tailored for students and recent grads who are interested in advancing their professional development in a specific field of study. And so this is everything, right, from our legal and finance and accounting, and technology internships that typically sit within our office or corporate spaces. And all of these can be looked at support.disneyprograms.com or disneycareers.com, where you can go and learn more about each of these opportunities, be it the college program or our summer internships, professional internships. We've got a little bit of everything from engineers to zoologists. If you can think of it, believe it or not, we have it at the Walt Disney Company in some capacity. And we want you to take a bit of time to explore and see what maybe makes sense for you. And with that, I will pass it over to Jenny to tell us more about our business employee resource groups.
Yeah, so BERG, fun acronym, everyone. Business Employee Resource Groups. They're exactly what they sound like. They're intended to be resources for employees. And I think one of the number one questions we get are kind of, where can I find a community within the company, especially with, our indigenous, Native American folks. Like it, there might not be, frankly, as many at the company as we'd like. We're definitely trying to increase those numbers. For me, sometimes rely on people like me who's an ally to kind of help bring the group together. So there's kind of a sampling on here from our dimensional identities. So, right, like Asian American Pacific Islander, Black African American, things like that. Anyone is welcome to join any group as an ally or if you identify with those dimensions. And they're really quite wonderful because it's great to kind of meet other people who can identify with you or kind of learn more with other communities that you support of how can you support other people of color, right? Or other people of other if you're queer or you're a veteran or anything. There's even employee resource groups, regardless of identity. We have a lot of fun ones. So everyone is definitely welcome to join. We definitely it's kind of lovely because it's, kind of by the people for the people. So if anyone's, whether you're an intern or a VP, SVP, all levels of people can totally go. And as you can see, 29,000 plus members globally, over 100 plus bergs. There's something for everyone, I think. And I know people who have found new career paths within the company through joining a berg, and they've made valuable connections. And just even sometimes for people who might feel like alone where they are, maybe, their team, they may not have fast friends in their team. They find really good friends within the bergs, within their communities. Yeah, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about Native specifically. So it stands for Native Americans Allies Together with Vision, and conveniently, it sounds like native, right? Because it is for native people. And while our focus and what we have mostly represented are people who are from tribes, indigenous peoples of the US, we do have a few in Canada. We do talk a lot about indigenous peoples, right, in the Pacific and Latin America, all over the place. So all indigenous identities are welcome. It is enterprise wide. So while we have some burgs that are kind of historically they've been built up from maybe certain business units or certain location base, Native is truly enterprise wide. And we do have people in Orlando, New York, LA, and we try to be very virtual where we can to be encompassing and have everyone together, which is great. And really this it's kind of got its roots in Walt Disney Imagineering informally, and then in about 2020 is when we became an official Berg, and that's when I kind of came along for the ride as an events chair for a little bit. And I'm proud to say that, in the past few years, we have increased visibility of, there's a lot of stereotypes out there that are hurtful, right? There's a lot of, maybe someone just gonna mute them. Um, Maybe there are people who they mean well and they say certain things or they think certain things and they might not understand. And I think that especially when you're looking at, I don't know if people have felt this way, but for Indigenous representation, a lot of the times historically hasn't been quite accurate or it's been very homogenizing. And as you all know, there's like over, was it 576 like federally recognized tribes and tribes that aren't even federally recognized beyond that. It's a lot of very unique perspectives. And I'm really happy for what this work has given me. It's really widened my world, and I think I'm still learning. And in terms of events, should you join the company? We do have talking circles on the last Wednesday of every month. So kind of a space, right, for um kind of inspired by traditional Native American gathering talking circles where anyone can come participate. We have people who sit there and they just want to listen. We have people who come, maybe they want to participate in the topic, and we kind of just let it go where it goes naturally of what do people need in that moment from a starting point. So everyone's welcome to come. Yes. Thank you all for jumping in the chat. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone's. And so this is really for Disney employees. So if you all become an intern or you become hired at the company, we are here. We have a Slack channel, we have email lists. That is how you would join. This is specifically internal, but we are trying to build and support our partners here at Outreach and Engagement and our partners in recruitment. And that's why I'm here today. It's not technically my job because we want to see you all and we want to get more people in here. So yeah, I don't know if we'll see. I don't see any other questions, I think. Maybe for later. What can you intern from where you're at, or do we have to attend in person? I don't know if Tony, you want me to answer that. I know a little bit. Most are, I think,
Yeah,
now in person,
we'll
right?
probably try and get through those questions
Perfect.
quickly right when we wrap up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's native.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. That was fabulous. So I'm going to give a quick overview of our outreach and engagement strategy and kind of how the Walt Disney Company stays engaged with AICF. So we have an initiative called Disney Future Storytellers. And Disney Future Storytellers is Disney's commitment to inspiring the next generation of storytellers and innovators through social investments and programs that provide inspiration and hands-on experience, very much like the Disney College program or the internships that Tony touched on. We are out to inspire youth to imagine their possibilities and expand access to training, professional networks, and financial support in the media, the entertainment, the technology, and the hospitality industries, as Disney spans all of those industries. So whether it's arts, whether it's STEM, whether you're in school-aged, whether you're in college or a recent grad and getting scholarships, need mentoring or skill building, we're here really to help today's youth dream about their future, build their talents and skills, and become who they imagine they can be. So we really want to be here to achieve dreams. As cliche as that sounds, that's the work we do. And that's what excites us every day. So taking a look here at our partnership with the American Indian College Fund, we have been funding scholarships since 2018, and we fund 13 scholars annually. So we support Native American and Alaska Native students attending tribal colleges and universities nationwide through scholarship funding, career services, mentorship, and I'll touch on some of the other programming we offer as well with this partnership. Recipients are typically juniors and seniors focused on careers in business, travel, leisure, and hospitality. We include a getting to know Disney site visit where we will take you on site where you'll be working, get to meet other Disney folks, get to kind of see where you'll be working. You get a paid internship, summer internship at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. Housing and relocation assistance, and scholarship is about $5,000 per year. In addition, we have mentorship opportunities, career readiness support, and uniquely Disney programming, as well as opportunities for post-graduation that may come out after your internship. So digging a little bit more into those scholarship components, we have two aspects. We have like the connection and engagement, and then we have events and programming. So if you look at our connection and engagement with AICF, we have welcome sessions similar to this one, but we do have separate ones for our scholars as well, where we kind of dig deeper into the Walt Disney Company and what their experience or focus areas might be. We have engagements with our business employee resource groups. We might be able to join a couple of sessions or have guest speakers come to a session we may host. We have mentorship circles, and we have a whole mentorship program where we can connect you as a scholar to a mentor within the Walt Disney Company. You can kind of guide you as you build out your career, and other career development offerings. So we have recruitment events, we have resume building, for example, we have interview tips as a session we might host. So things that can really help you build out your career and your career path as you get started. And in terms of events and programming, we have ongoing programming in conjunction with AICF. So we try to stay in lockstep with our calendars, and we're looking ahead at 2025 and trying to see innovative ways that we can work with AICF to come together and put together events. This can include social events, things like alumni networking or local geographic meetups if there are enough folks in a certain city. And then we also have uniquely Disney celebrations, whether it's on a Disney property, whether it may be something related to a movie that's being released. And so there's always some sort of magic that we like to keep you involved in. And so speaking of magic, we would love to have you all dive into the magic with Disney Plus. So we have a very special offering that I think Tony touched on earlier, which touches on our streaming side of things. But we would love to have all of you enter this raffle to win a free Disney Plus subscription for 1 year. You must be 18 or 18 plus to enter and win. And this would be a 1 year subscription to everything that falls under Disney Plus, whether it's from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic. Disney Plus now does also include shows from Hulu, I believe. So we have a vast array, vast library. So we would love for you to scan the QR code if you're comfortable, just share your basic contact information, and we will pick 3 random winners for this. But also once we have your email and your name, we're happy to keep you in our talent community, in our talent network, and keep you updated with other sorts of events or updates that may be relevant.
Awesome. And I know thanks so much, Niranjani and Jenny. I know we're so close to time, or being right at time, but saw a few questions come in. We'll get through quickly. On the healthcare side, there are opportunities in our parks, for example. There's often healthcare staff there, but there are no official programs that I'm aware of that onboards people through any type of nursing programs or healthcare programs that I saw listed. Some internships are also remote, but there is a likelihood that you'll need to relocate to take advantage for a sure majority of the professional internships that exist. And certainly the Disney College program is in Orlando, Florida. And in terms of this, just trying to track all the questions I got, I believe this is only for Disney Plus and not the bundle as well. Wonderful. I think, team, that's all that we've got. And it sounds like you all have something going on at the top of the hour. So thank you so much again for your time. Thank you again to all of our partners at AICF for all the work that we're able to do together. And a huge thank you to Niranjani and Jen for bringing everything together.
Thank you for being here for the Disney partners. I truly appreciate you being here. I am going to put in the chat a survey that you can respond, give some feedback to the Disney partners.